This is a podcast about one woman's mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners write better business books. Each week, we tackle your writing excuses, because there are excuses too, and help you beat the blank page of doom so that you can write the book that'll grow your life and your business. Now here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Good evening and welcome to the 1000 Authors Show. I am Vicky Quinn Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
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 It's a bit late and we're a bit bewildered because I was just about to leave the office and I had this feeling that I hadn't done something. And then I looked at my to-do list and realised that it was the podcast. So, hi.
Here we are.
So I just got onto the office intercom and summoned Joe from presumably in front of a nice roaring fire.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I'm very excited about that. I also really need to pee.
Okay, this is going to be a short one.
It is going to be a short one for all of those reasons. I actually had decided on the topic today.
Okay.
But I hadn't written any notes, so we're winging it. But this is a topic I talk about a lot anyway, and I feel like I know things, and so it'll be fine.
It's going to go all right.
It's going to go all right.
5 stars, people. 5 stars.
More organised podcasts are available. So, Joe, what are you reading?
I'm reading Voices by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Is it good?
Yes.
Have I read it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I've read a bunch of her
It's
stuff.
a bit of a, I feel like I've read loads of her stuff as a teenager and nothing for years. So it's about an occupied country. It all feels a little bit Israeli and Palestinian.
Oh, okay.
But it's obviously set somewhere else with
Off-world?
not necessarily. There's an oracle, which seems to be a real thing.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that means it's off-world.
Okay, cool. And this is really good radio. I've also got new hair.
Yes.
Do you like it?
I do.
I like it.
Good.
I feel like I'm a little bit channeling like a cross between Amelie and, oh my God, the bride out of Kill Bill.
I think she's just the bride.
No, not her. Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
And also some kind of a startled rabbit.
It's darker.
It is darker with blue streaks.
A lot less blue.
A lot less blue, but there is blue in it. And I felt like, I don't know, I just, I've got a short hair attention span, haven't I? So I like it. So this is good radio.
Very exciting, very exciting.
So I am reading, as always, 2 books. Rereading Thud by Terry Pratchett, which I love everything that he's ever written because he's just awesome. And he was angry about how, he was like ragey about how the world is filled with injustices. And so he just channeled that into writing about it and made it just amazing and accessible. And he's just great. Like one of my favourite quotes of his is, "Evil starts when people begin treating other people like things." I've mangled that quote a bit, but it's pretty accurate. And I think he's right. I think that is the root of evil.
Okay.
When we start treating people like things. So yes, I love everything Terry Pratchett has written. It's another Night Watch novel as well. So there's lots of Sam Vimes, which is good.
Nice.
Yes, I'm also reading, except I haven't started it yet, The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker.
I mean, in that sense, I'm also reading The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker. Because I haven't started it either. I mean,
but it's not
how does that work?
Well, we're not. That is the December book for Bookaholics, and it's still November while we're recording this, so
Right.
I feel like that's fine. I've also been reading bits and pieces. Oh, I attended. I didn't tell you this, but yesterday before you got home, I subscribed to.
Vicky's talking to me now, by the way, not you, dear listener.
So
you just happen to be overhearing this.
I subscribed to a writing magazine called Mislexia, which is women's writing magazine, and it's kind of specifically for women writers. And so I get the physical magazine, but I also get access to loads of the stuff that they do as well, like events and things. And I got an email in my inbox just as I was turning off my emails last night or yesterday afternoon. I got we've got this poetry workshop kind of thing with Hannah Lowe, who is a poet and a lecturer in poetry at Brunel University. And poetry is my secondary genre in my creative writing MA that I'm doing. Okay. And we're about to start it. And I just thought, Instead of thinking, oh, I don't have time to do this, I just thought, no, you know what, I'm going to do this because I'm sitting here and it's happening in an hour. And I did it, and it was really good. I got loads of useful stuff, because I don't know that much about writing poetry or reading poetry, but I like the idea of being able to write poetry that is better than the usual shit that I churn out. So Joe wrote a really good poem the other day. You wrote a very good haiku.
I wrote a haiku.
You did.
I can't even remember what it said, but it was something about leaving my phone at home.
Well, it's because I sent Joe an email which was basically in really bad poem format, saying your phone is at home, woe, woe, phone at home. It was very bad. And Joe replied with a haiku, which was not bad at all. So maybe Joe should be doing my poetry block.
Poetry.
Yeah. Anyway, I did the thing. That is kind of relevant. I'll come to that in a minute, because we're going to be talking today about bad habits and Wispa golds.
This week at the Dingle, though.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, we just didn't have any of the stuff that we needed to do the things that we wanted to do. So
Poorly
we've
prepared
made
for the weekend.
fuck all progress, and I just was really cross. Not with you, just generally. And then, and I was really cross with Screwfix. Screwfix, if you're listening, screw you, because
Really?
they
lied.
They lied to me. So we needed some fixings which are like giant plastic discs to fix things into the wall that screws will just like screw through. And so I got onto Screwfix and I ordered them for their next day, and they were like, oh, order it now, next day delivery. And then I paid them the money, and they emailed me back and said, yay, this will be available on Monday. And I was like, that's not tomorrow. So they took my money and then told me.
That's a bit rude.
Yeah, I still haven't been to pick it up. Too cross with them. I need to go and do that this week.
Okay. But yeah, it was a shambolic weekend. We basically didn't have any of the things we needed.
And we were really cold.
And we were cold. And the weather was so cold, really bitterly cold.
Oh my God, it was Storm Arwen.
Storm Arwen. I mean, it's not as bad as other...
We had a tree down.
A lot of people in the country, though, still haven't got power back. And
I know.
That can't be fun.
No, and I do feel really bad for them. But, you know, they're not here. And here we were cold in our house and our tree is down.
Yeah.
I do genuinely feel bad for the people who had a horrible time of it. I know I'm being flippant and a bitch, but that's fine. So yeah, this week we are talking about bad habits and Wispa golds, because one of my bad habits is Wispa golds.
Yes, it is.
I really like them. I know they're trash.
You know what another one of your bad habits is?
What?
Blaming me when you have no Wispa golds.
Well, yes. Because you should bring them home whenever you come out of a shop. You should bring them with you. Instead of withholding them from me and then hiding them.
It's not that I'm withholding them from you or we're hiding them. It's like, you've got a bad habit. You're gonna have to buy your own bad habit supplies.
I really like them. And the thing is, though, like, I really like them. And that's it. That's the end of the story.
That's the whole story.
Yeah. But also, I know they're trash. But that's not the only chocolate I like. I love Booja Booja truffles, vegan truffles as well, which are not trash. And so I feel like I balance out my trash chocolate habit with good chocolate. Anyway, Let's move on. So, habits, what are they?
Habits are a shortcut that your brain takes to save energy.
Yes, that's true.
Habits are once you have made a decision or executed a behavior enough times, your brain just goes, all right, I'm going to stop thinking about this and I'm just going to take the shortcut route, which is the same conclusion I made the last 100 times, and I'm going to do that thing.
And in practical terms, a good example of this is when you get into your car, say to go to work, and then suddenly you're there and you've gone through a wormhole and you have no recollection of any of the journey, which is both terrifying and magical because it's the same journey every day. And so you wonder how many people you mowed down on the way. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like when you first learn to drive, it's really overwhelming because you have to think about literally everything.
Like changing gear is this sequence of complicated things where you're pressing pedals and wiggling sticks around and
crunching, grinding. And then like now when you've been driving for, well, even just a few weeks really, it just becomes unconscious.
This thing that happens.
It's like brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about how to brush your teeth. You don't have to think about how to open a door or how to stand up and get out of a chair if we're lucky enough to, have that kind of mobility. So yeah, that is what, like, a very simplified way of thinking about what a habit is. But also, that's why people get addicted to smoking and drugs and things like that. It's a habit.
Yes. I mean, that's a different kind of habit, isn't it? One of them is energy saving and consciousness saving. And the other is, a chemical dopamine thing, yeah.
Yeah, but they're still there is still a connection between them because habits form because they are pleasurable in some way.
Right.
And so this is, and the interesting thing about habits is that you can't break them.
Hang on. Habits are pleasurable in some way, are they? Are they always pleasurable?
Initially, yes. And that's the thing. Initially, they are, because otherwise they would not form and fix, because there's a thing called a habit loop, right? There's the cue, the trigger, and then the reward. And in between is the habit that is formed. So, for example, if you're smoking, then, and this is a story I remember from you would get off a train and want a cigarette.
Yes, because that's what I did when I got off trains.
Yeah, but the reason that that habit stuck is because you would get the little hit from the nicotine and you get your dopamine high and all the rest of it. And so even when you wanted to quit smoking, it's no longer pleasurable for you necessarily. But initially it was pleasurable, which is how the habit formed in the first place.
So do you not think there's you can form a habit to do something that you don't find fun?
I think it's very difficult.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it's a very difficult thing to do, and I think that you have to always build in that reward in order to be able to do it. So it might be that, like, I don't, and I never did enjoy really going for a run. I did sometimes enjoy the running because I'm out there and all the rest of it, and this is leading on to my new running habit. But there would always be some kind of a reward at the end. Okay. And so for me, my reward would be like a hot shower after being out on a cold run is like one of my favorite things. It's really, really nice. Or just having, just coming back in again, just having done it.
Not having to run anymore.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there has to be something woven into the unpleasant thing to make it pleasurable in order for it to become a habit. Because otherwise you're just not going to do it. So there's a reason why I don't go to the gym. I hate the gym. Hate fucking everything about it. So I do other things instead. But for me to go to the gym, there would have to be
a Wispa gold at the end of it.
Yeah. Maybe like Tom Hiddleston holding out a Wispa gold. That would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. And you and Tom Hiddleston. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yes. And you can't break them. That's the interesting thing. Once a habit is there, it's there.
You cannot break a habit.
Cannot break a habit, but you can replace one habit with another habit.
Okay.
Because they're really strong and deeply embedded in your head. This isn't me, by the way, saying this. You can go and read a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, which is absolutely fascinating. Really interesting book about habits and neuroscience and stuff. And also read Atomic Habits, which is one of my favourite books by James Clear. Mm-hmm. Really good book. Totally changed my life because it got me thinking about, instead of doing a thing, it's, what does he say in his book? He says, we don't rise to the level of something. We fall to the level of our systems.
Right.
And habits. And so it doesn't matter how lofty your ideals are or what your goals are. Oh, and the other thing he said that just blew my mind was winners and losers have the same goals. Mm-hmm. So like the person who came last in the 100 meters had exactly the same goal as Usain Bolt, right? What's the difference? I mean, maybe a bit of physiology and stuff, but ultimately it's the things that you do every day.
Okay.
And I just, that just kind of changed everything for me because I was just like, I need to like get my arse into gear with things I want to do, really. But yeah, it doesn't matter how lofty your goals are. And, aside from natural advantages that you might have, like Michael Phelps has a specific physique that makes him
big feet.
Ideally suited to being a swimmer. And like enormously long arms and strong torso as well. And so there are certain natural, there's going to be natural advantages. But adjusting for all of that, ultimately what makes the difference is our habits.
Yeah.
And the systems.
The systems and the habits.
Yeah. So that's something to think about. Whether that's a happy thing or not. But it is a useful thing because it means that everything is within our grasp if if we're in a position to take advantage of the situation that we're in. So it's true.
Okay.
But yeah, I also wanted to talk about habit stacking.
Habit stacking.
Yes. And this is an important thing as well. So if you want to do something, if you want to build a new habit, it's a really good idea to stack it on top of something that you already do every day.
Right.
And I can give you an example.
Please do.
Cool. So, I, a few months ago, started doing yoga first thing in the morning.
Yes.
And it's just for a few minutes, just up to half an hour, no more than half an hour. And then we went on our little holiday to the treehouse.
Yes.
And we walked up a hill and I realised I was disgustingly unfit when it comes to cardio fitness. And I was like, okay, I don't expect to be able to run up a mountain and be fine, but I do expect to be able to walk up a hill and not die. Mm-hmm. So, so I was, I need to do something about this. And I'm not going to the gym for reasons that I've already said. I hate it. And so what can I do? You know, I would love to find a dancing class, but I haven't got off my ass to do that. And literally the easiest thing for me to do is to get out and go for a little run in the morning.
Sure.
I say easiest.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And I also haven't run. So I was like, my default position in the past has always been, I'm going to run a half marathon and I'm going to do it immediately. And if I can't do it immediately, then I'm a massive failure and I am rubbish and I might as well just stop. And that doesn't work. It's a stupid way to go about things.
That is not a long-term solution.
It's not. It's absolute guaranteed way to feel shit about yourself within 5 minutes. So instead of doing that, I decided to try something else. I decided that I was going to run for 1 minute.
1 whole minute.
1 whole minute, and then walk for 4 minutes, and then turn around and run for a minute and walk for 4 minutes. And I would do that for a week, and then I would do 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and so on.
Sure.
And that is what I started doing.
Hang on, we're talking about stacking.
Yes, because I decided that if I stacked that together with my yoga, the first thing I do is get out of bed and into my running clothes, and that is the first thing. They are literally at the end of my bed in the morning. Get into my running clothes, stumble downstairs, out the door, maybe stop for a wee so I don't wee myself on the way around, and then just do that, and then straight into my office afterwards to do my yoga.
Which is already a habit.
Which is already a habit, and the yoga mat is already out first thing in the morning, so it's like if I'm going to walk from my house to my office and do my yoga, I might as well run for a minute as well. And so that, for me, that's that habit stacking.
Okay.
And so if you have, say if you want to get into a writing habit, which of course is what I'm leading the conversation around to because 'tis what I do, but if you have like a habit in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever, and you want to start writing, then join it to that. So maybe your habit is that at like 9 o'clock in the morning, you go and make yourself a cup of tea.
Sure.
Link it to writing. So, and that I do that with writing, by the way. I don't start my writing until I've got my cup of tea next to me. And so go make yourself a cup of tea and then set a timer for 5 minutes and write. Chances are that you will write for longer than that. But that's what I mean by habit stacking. Pick something that instead of trying to start something totally from scratch and from nowhere, pick something you already do and link it together.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you got to make sure you're thinking about the reward as well so that it sticks.
Yes, make it fun. Like, really important.
So how are you making this how is your running working for you?
Okay.
Where's the reward?
Okay, so I'm making the running fun for me. This is probably not going to sound fun to most people. But I make it into a little adventure because at the moment it's dark when I'm out running. So when there's a full moon, it's amazing because it was a full moon last week and everything was silver and it was beautiful and frosty. And when it's not a full moon, I've got my torch so that I can make myself seasick running along with it. Nice. But again, on a frosty day, I've got like sparkles, and so I turn it into a little bit of an adventure. One of my routes takes me past our little village church, and the other morning I could have sworn there was somebody standing in the churchyard just staring at me. I scared the living bejesus out of myself and screamed a little bit, so probably sorry neighbours who are around there. Took me a moment, because you know how your brain constructs stuff, took me a moment to realise that it was a stump with ivy on it. But for a moment, that was a monster. I have never run so fucking fast in my life. So, and there are some scary, like, tree tunnely bits, aren't there?
It's kind of dark and moody around here, isn't it?
It's dark and moody around here. So I'm kind of like, this morning it was really dark because it was a little bit rainy. And so I was running, like, down towards where it floods. And you know how tree it is down there and really dark down there. And then I was like, oh, what if there's a zombie? And like, I know there are no zombies. I know this. But also my brain goes, there are zombies and they're after you. And so I'm like, shit, I'm going to die. This is how the zombie apocalypse is. I'm going to be the first. I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be patient zero. And so then that becomes a thing. Cool. I feel like people are listening to this and they're like, we're never going to buy anything from you ever again. You're a lunatic. But make it fun. And, you know, I know that doesn't sound like fun, but it's a game to me. And so with things like writing, I have made something fun for you. And it's free. Not for you, for the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I have made an advent calendar, and I'm going to do one of these every month. And I got this idea, by the way, from Adrienne Mishler, who does Yoga with Adrienne, which is the yoga that I do every morning.
Nice.
And she has a calendar every month, and she has a different theme for every month, and she has a different little yoga workout. And you click on the entry for the calendar, and it takes you through to one of her YouTube videos, and you just follow along with it. And so she's got like yoga for digestion, and yoga for stress, and yoga for when you're tired, and yoga for manual labor. And so just like loads of different things. So I was like, that will work perfectly for writing prompts. So I totally swiped that idea and adapted it to my own business. And I have made a little calendar. And so December's advent calendar is now available free. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to give me your email address, although I obviously would like you to do so. But you can go to moxiebooks.co.uk/calendar, click on it, download it. It's all clickable. And each day it will take you to a different little writing prompt.
Nice.
And all I ask is that you just write every day. There are links to follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I would love it if you shared your writing with me. That would be awesome. But at least share your experience. Share it with people that you think might enjoy it. It's a thing that I've made for you, and also because I want to bring more people into my world who want to become better writers and who want to write their books. So
cool.
Yes, this is my gift to you. So what's the takeaway today? And also, it'll build your writing habit, you see, because you do it every day.
Every day, writing
every
habit.
Day,
Cup of tea,
habit.
first thing.
Yeah.
Lovely. Takeaway, I don't know, go and get the free advent calendar.
Yes. Good.
Build habits, link habits.
Yes. Also read Atomic Habits, because it's a really great book.
Okay.
I should have a referral fee from James Clear, the number of people who I've told to buy his book. Hi, James.
Hi, James.
You can give me a referral fee if you like. That'd be awesome. So next week, we are going to be talking about how long will it take to write a non-fiction book once you've built this lovely writing habit of yours.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. But in the meantime, go and get the advent calendar. The link is in the show notes, moxiebooks.co.uk/calendar. Go and rate us and review us.
5 stars.
Go to iTunes and subscribe. If you subscribe, it helps us climb the rankings. It helps other people find us. Or if you know people who will enjoy this nonsense, then send them a link.
Cool. moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast.
Thank you, Joe. We'll be back same time next week. Thanks very much for joining us. Thank you for listening. Harriet, thank you for always sorting my shit out. Podfly, thank you so much for producing this excellently and reminding me that I have to actually make a podcast, which you did this week.
Well done.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
Cheers all.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. You can find links and show notes on the website at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast, where you can also sign up for the best daily emails in the multiverse and find loads of free resources to help you write your book. We'll be back the same time next week with more tales from the book writing trenches and the latest on what the tiny sheeps have been up to.